All right, everybody, welcome back to Local Constrictors. My name is Seth. If you're new to the channel, this is Local Constrictors. We do pure locality boas. First of all, guys, I want to say thank you guys for all the support. A lot of you guys are watching. You're commenting on the videos, and as far as I know, I've replied to all the comments, so hopefully that's true. I just really appreciate all the support that I've gotten from friends and people that follow my channel. It's pretty cool. So I'm doing this as just another way to connect with people, and I really appreciate everybody that's reached out with positive feedback. If you guys are new to the channel, I encourage you to subscribe. This is not going to be necessarily like an educational channel. But you're going to learn a lot. I'm going to talk about the process that I use as far as going through my season. The videos will not be titled necessarily, how to do this or how to do that. A lot of that information is going to be buried in the videos as they come out. So if you follow along and you watch the videos, you're liable to learn something or at least see a different perspective. This here is a Cocker K boa produced here last year. I just wanted something to show off while I was talking. These guys are so cool, just so laid back, beautiful. It's almost a blue. It's like a silvery blue color. I don't know if it's picking up. Some of my background lights kind of yellowed, or kind of warm, so it may not be picking up. But they're just really pretty boas. I do want to talk a little bit about what's happened this week, or what's going on this week. I got some ARS display cases in. I wasn't going to do a review on them because there's already like 1,000 reviews out there on ARS display cases. But I got 2 display cases in for Tinley. I don't generally do, or I don't do reptile shows. But last year, Vin Russo was kind enough to invite me to his booth. Some of you may know he had a fire at his facility. It was pretty tragic, and we've been friends for a couple of years now, and so I wanted him to be able to represent locality boas at Tinley Park, and it was a fantastic experience. It gave me the opportunity to meet a lot of good people, and he was kind enough to let me join him at the show. So we're going to do that again this year, and I'm really excited about it. I really enjoy meeting you guys and meeting a lot of the other guys that I only really know as a Facebook profile, Facebook profile picture. So it's neat to be able to talk to people in person and meet them. So I'll be at Tinley Park this year. If you guys happen to be there, please stop by. Please say hello. As far as the ARS display case goes, fantastic construction, fantastic quality. It's heavy. It's really heavy. They got glass tops, which I really like because you don't have to worry about scratching the tops all up. And the case itself, the travel case that it comes in, is extremely heavy duty. It's not like a knockoff case. It's heavy. I don't know how much it weighs, but the whole assembly together it's quite a bit to tote around. So 5 stars ARS display cases. Second thing I was going to talk about, I made some notes here because I tend to go all over the place and get sidetracked. I made a rat order. I've been using Big Cheese rodents I think this is my 4th rat order. Really enjoy them. It's crazy how clean the rodents are. It's crazy how well packed they are. I've used several different companies in the past, and sometimes you get a gallon Ziploc bag just crammed full of rodents that are stuck together, especially when you get into smaller mice and fuzzy mice and stuff. They're just kind of all frozen and jam-packed in there. It's absolutely ridiculous how meticulous Big Cheese Rodent is about individually. Everything is like the little tails are just tucked perfectly, and I don't know. It's clean. You defrost them, and they hardly even have a smell to them. It's kind of wild. So not a sponsored video, obviously, but I paid full price. When I see something good, I like to share it. Let's see, I was going to talk a little bit about the temps in the room. We're at the peak of the summer right now, so my temps in the room are at 80 degrees. I use a 10-degree fluctuation throughout the season. I try to, my temperatures in my room coincide with the temperatures outside. So in the cool of the winter, I'm at my bottom 70 degrees. In the heat of the summer, I'm at the top 80 degrees. And I try to go along with the season. So probably next month, I generally kick it down 2 degrees a month is kind of how I do it. I'll start in August or so, and I'll go to 78, and September I'll go to 76, October I'll go to 74, November I'll go to 72, and then in December I'll be at 70. And I just try to, and then I'll have it at 70 for a couple of months, and then I'll start ticking it back up to the next summer. And that seasonality, that fluctuation in the room helps to cycle these boas into a breeding season. So I don't think if you're not able to do that in your house, if you keep your animals in your house, obviously I'm extremely fortunate to have a dedicated room, but not everybody is that fortunate, and I didn't start out that way. My snakes were at the foot of the bed at one point, but I don't think it's an all or nothing. I think that there's an overall recipe, and everything is just ingredients, and you can go a little lighter and a little heavier on some ingredients, and overall it still gets the job done. So if you're not able to fluctuate your room temperature like that, I don't see that as being a problem. I see it as every little bit helps, but I don't see it as a disqualification, I guess. Next, let's see, temperatures in the room, baby boa feeding. So we're feeding boas here. We've got a lot of babies that are having their first meal. What I usually try to do is I only thaw out maybe 20 mice, 20 mice, and I'll try to feed, kind of go down in order, and I'll just try to feed, and some will feed and some will skip, and then I'll come back the following week, and whoever didn't eat the prior week, I'll try them again. I generally don't, depending on how many babies I have, this year I've got a lot of babies. I'm not going to go back and try every day to get animals to feed. So I'll usually pick a day, on a Saturday or something, and I'll try to feed everybody. Whoever doesn't eat, we'll just wait till the following week. These animals can go a long time without food. And sometimes, especially with newborn boas, it just takes a little while for that yolk to absorb and all those nutrients to run through their bodies, and for them to have the urge to feed, for that instinct to kick in. Sometimes it just takes some time, and bugging them every day with something is not going to rush that. It's not going to change that time. They have to move at their own pace. Some of them take right off, and some of them don't. There's variation within the localities as far as temperament and personality. Sometimes you can use that to your advantage, and sometimes it works to your disadvantage. And you just have to work with the animal and let them go at their own pace. Obviously, after a certain period of time, if that instinct doesn't kick in, we have to step in and do what we have to do to help that animal out. But overall, I find that more often than not, it's just a matter of waiting it out and letting them work at their own pace. So yeah, I'll try to feed once a week, and right now I've got everybody. I think the vast majority of the babies from this season have 2 dots on them. That means they've had 2 meals. Generally speaking, once they've had that first meal, you generally don't have any trouble. It kicks in, that instinct kicks in, and they feed pretty well. But a lot of times it's just getting them over that first meal hump. But everybody's had 2 meals now. A lot of the Surinames are eating well. I started them off on a pinky just to give them something to process, something that's easy on their stomachs, and let them process that. And then I put them on a fuzzy, I guess it is, or a hopper, fuzzy, just barely have air. And that's what they all ate night before last. So we'll let them process that, and then we'll give them another meal, and then should be pretty much ready to go after that, as long as they haven't had any issues, and as long as they're passing the meal. So that's where we're at with those. A lot of the Tarahumaras took their second meal. The Colombians, the Barranquilla Colombians, Rio Bravos, they've been hammering food for a long time. They're well on their way. Surinames are ready, and Western AKs have all had their first meal. Some of them have had 2 meals. They were a little bit slow to start. Some of these localities, especially these island localities, as babies, they're very, very timid. And when you try to introduce food, even live or frozen thawed, they tuck their head, they hide their face, and that's something you just have to wait out. It's been my experience. That's how I do it. I don't force them to eat. I don't pressure them to eat. I try to feed them. If they don't eat, I wait a week and I try it again. And at some point, they will start eating. There's little tricks that people use to get them to start eating, and I think sometimes, those are definitely valuable. Or everything's a good tool to have in your toolbox. But what I've found in my collection, and I've produced just about most island localities, it's just a waiting game. Some of the corns, I've got one corn island female that's just pounding food from this season, and I've got 2 other ones that have had 1 meal since they were born. I got them to eat 1 meal. They're just not interested. I've tried live, I've tried all types of things, but they look fantastic. They look like they've been feeding. They're not struggling, they're not losing weight. They look fantastic. And so I'll just let them go when they're ready to go. That instinct will kick in, and they'll take off. So one of the tricks I use for keeping track of who's eating is I put a dot on the tub. So like the feeding before last was green dots. Everybody that eats gets a green dot. The other day before yesterday, was orange dots. I use orange by the day. So green is one day, orange is the next day. The next day might be purple or blue or whatever. And so that's way I can tell who's skipped a meal. If I've got a tub that has green, orange, and purple, and the next tub over just has green and purple, then I know that they haven't had consecutive meals. They're not eating consecutive meals. A lot of people will write down dates and all that stuff. I try to streamline this. I keep it as simple as possible. To me, all I want to know is that they're eating well. That every time they're offered food, they're eating the food, and then in turn they're passing the food. And I feel pretty good about it. So that'll be when they're ready to go. I think that's just about it about feeding. I welcome any questions, comments, suggestions in the comments. I think that's about it. I went over the room temperature. It's hot outside. I got up this morning. I made some coffee in the Keurig machine, and I forgot to put my cup in the Keurig machine. So I made coffee all over the counter. That's how my day started, and it ended with a blown transmission in my truck. So it's just a wild day. I really wanted to get this video out, so I'm up here now doing this. And it kind of brings me back to the place that relaxes me and makes me happy. So life can be chaos sometimes, and you really need to find something to level yourself back out again. So hope you guys are all doing well. Like I said, I genuinely appreciate you guys stopping by, watching these videos. I hope that they're helpful, and as I make them, they'll get better. I'm still, I find myself stumbling over my words and trying to losing track of what I'm thinking about. And it's like you hit record on this thing and your brain just falls right out of your head. So hopefully the videos will get better. They're never going to be a big production. Like I said, my intention is not to be a famous YouTuber. This is just like a vlog, like a journal for you guys to follow along with. Give you little tidbits like big cheese rodents. Love them. 2 thumbs up. ARS display cases, 2 thumbs up. Quality of both of them is fantastic. Little note about the temperature in the room, 80 degrees. Next month, gonna start ticking it back down to my cool period. Everybody's eating. Oh, I know what I forgot. I had a Guyana, had a litter of babies for me this year. I don't even remember when the litter was, but she had a litter. Set the babies up, put her away, offered her a meal. She ate fantastic. Couple days later, I noticed she had some fluid in her enclosure, and I thought it was just some more afterbirth maybe that came out, and I took a closer look and she had actually prolapsed. So that is something that happens. It happens for gravid boas that gave birth, and it also happens just anyways. It's not necessarily anything that anybody's done wrong. There was not a lot of slugs. I don't remember exactly. I have to look at my notes, but there was maybe 1 or 2 slugs in the litter. So I don't think it had anything to do with the slugs. I think she just, for whatever reason, she continued to push, because when I took her to the vet, she was empty. There was nothing else in there. So for whatever reason, she just felt the urge to continue to push, and she prolapsed herself. The vet took x-rays, said she was emptied out, no slugs, no babies left in there. He put a stitch in her cloaca, put everything back in, put a stitch in the cloaca, told me to leave it for 4 weeks and not feed, don't feed her or anything. And so that's what we did. And yesterday we took the stitch out. Fingers crossed, she looks fantastic. Everything's holding now. What I'm probably going to do is I'm going to continue on with relatively small meals and just let her pass several small meals and then incrementally work my way up from there and just keep an eye on how she does. Hopefully it was a one-time occurrence, just a freak thing, but we'll have to keep an eye on her. And the vet told me that there's no reason to necessarily think that she won't ever breed again, or it could have just been a freak thing. Obviously, if it continues to be an issue, she won't be bred anymore. She'll be retired and live her life out happily here. So I guess with all that said, I don't know how long we're going on this video, but I try to make them as short as possible without blabbing too much. I guess that's it. I appreciate you guys stopping by. I hope you had a good weekend. Today's Monday. Hope you had a good weekend, and look forward to making the next video. Thank you guys. Bye.